Hello, how are you all? So we are going to talk about Pitbull in this video, which might seem kind of odd to talk about on this channel. Pitbull is a first generation Cuban American rapper. I'm very familiar. I grew up listening to a lot of his music. We also listened to a lot of his songs in my Zumba class back in Denver, which makes sense. So I'm very familiar with his music. I haven't followed him a lot recently, and then last week he sort of came on my radar. He went viral on social media, and I'm sure you've probably already seen this video that I'm going to show you, but if not, we'll watch a piece of it, and then I'll sort of talk about it afterwards. But he was on a podcast. I don't even know when he was on this podcast, you all. It could have been a while back, but he was on a podcast and started talking about his observations of our political climate right now. And you know, things are bad when a rapper has more of a grasp on our politics and has a better observation and insight into what's going on than our own politicians here. So yeah, there we go. Well, let's watch the video and talk about it at the end.
You gotta read the tea leaves, bro. The devil's in the details. And with that said is, if you look at the recovery numbers on what we're talking about, I don't know what it is, but I guess the flu went on vacation on this year. Heart attacks went on vacation this year. Everything went on vacation this year when it came to, I'm talking about, what we're going through right now.
Right. Okay.
And let's just call a spade a spade. And the reason I can have this conversation is because my family comes from communism. They fled communism. They had everything taken away from them. Everybody got murdered. Everybody got killed. And that's the reason me, being a first-generation Cuban-American, or maybe us, being first-generation Cuban-Americans, I look at freedom and I appreciate that shit. I appreciate opportunity. I appreciate anything that you give me. All I need is a little slip, partner, and I got.
There is a reason why a lot of Venezuelan Americans and Cuban Americans voted overwhelmingly Republican in the 2020 election. There's even a study by the Pew Research Center, and a lot of it, or from what I heard, I can't speak for anyone other than myself, and I've listened to interviews with people, and they say the same thing. They appreciate freedom. They love freedom because a lot of them or their family members fled communism, and they know the early signs. They know what to look out for, and not to say that's exactly where we're heading, and not to fearmonger or be sensational or anything like that, but like what he said, you call a spade a spade. I know the signs, man, and I'm starting to see them. And you know, one of the reasons they voted overwhelmingly Republican is because, you know, Republican is about individualism. It's about family, going out and getting things for yourself, and they enjoy capitalism. You've never heard anyone escape a capitalist society. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if you know of any story that you can find anywhere where someone has fled a capitalist society, because I haven't come across that yet, but please prove me wrong. But you know, Trump back in 2017 at a Hispanic heritage event, called communism a thing of the past, and that freedom is the future. And he was always very vocal of his support for Venezuelan and Cuban Americans, and that, again, I would suspect is one of the reasons they voted Republican. And, you know, for anyone that watches this clip, or for anyone that even watches this video and says, oh, that's just a conspiracy, that's not going to happen, that's not going to happen. Well, we already know that the Democrats have used this pandemic for things that they've been wanting to get for a long time. Universal basic income. We're basically there almost with our unemployment rates and jobs being killed. What else? A massive distribution of wealth. We saw that. Censorship might even be a separate thing, but that's one more thing that societies that want to control their populations do. I didn't retain a lot in school. School was not my thing. But I do specifically remember in 5th grade learning about North Korea and how they sort of control the population, and one of the ways they do that is they control they control the information that their population gets. They control their internet and everything that people are able to search and access online. And you know, you see that, and I don't know, I watched, oh, okay. Rick Steves. Do you guys know who Rick Steves is? He's the guy that I love. Rick Steves. He has all the traveling books. He has travel shows. Just an all around great guy, and goes everywhere. He had a special on. I think it was public television, and it was the rise of Nazi Germany. And I'm even watching that, and some of the things, again, I'm not saying this is where we're going, but what I'm saying is know your history, know these other societies, know how this stuff starts. Democracy is very fragile, and a lot of things that I was seeing in that documentary, I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. Censoring things, burning books, hate speech, like dehumanizing people, whole groups of people, like we see it now. Oh, the evil Republicans. Even here in California, so we have that recall Newsom thing happening, and you'll Google this. You'll look it up. They're trying to smear the people that don't like Gavin Newsom, or the people that are doing this, as white supremacists. I'm not even joking. Can I just tell you, the first recall Newsom event that I held with a few of my friends, I was the only white person. So that's just bonkers. And Democrats and Republicans don't like Newsom for his leadership, but that's what they do. They try and smear people, and that's really scary. And they try to suppress stories and fix algorithms and things of that nature. So it makes you think about certain things. And again, I'm not saying this is where we're going, but we should be having these conversations, and we should all be standing up for freedom of speech with everyone. And now I'm going to go to this Time Magazine article, and I know, because most of you are smarter than me, so you've already seen this and read it, but this article came out last week, and it says, "The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election." And I'm just going to read you a small piece of this, but I mean, come on. They literally just come right out and say it. It's fascinating. So in this article, they say, in a way, Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Wow. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. Let's see. The work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws that helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and used data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. So we saw what sort of happened in the election, and I am not saying that the Rona is not real. I am not saying you shouldn't be safe. I am not an anti-masker or anything like that. But what I'm saying is we see how our government has been inconsistent, and how they possibly use this to help them in the election. And just here in West Hollywood, if I can find the videos, I'll show it to you. But my government, while they're telling me that I need to stay inside, I can't see my family, I can't see my friends, I can't work, all our businesses are closed down, I can't go anywhere, I have to stay inside to save lives. Simultaneously, thousands of people are walking down my street, and some of my elected officials that are telling me this are joining them and praising them. So when all of that is there, how do you not question? How do you not say, so that's basically that it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about that interview. I really respect, I'm not a huge fan of his music anymore. I was back in the day. Well, like I said earlier, I haven't kept up with him. But, you have to respect someone that's willing to come out and speak his truth. Whether you agree with him or not, that's his truth, that's his observation. And the good news with all of this is, because it seems like really doom and gloom, is I have talked to a lot of people. I have met a lot of people. And I think it's going to be a bottom-up type of thing. a lot of people that normally would not want to go into politics, that are really good people, that are now wanting to go into politics because they see everything that's happening right now, and they don't like it, and they want to make a change. And a lot of people are very worried about voter integrity, and I do know people that are working from the ground up to ensure voter integrity. We have people in California that are doing it, and I know people in other places are doing it. So I remain hopeful, and for me, just seeing a person like Pitbull getting up and saying something like this gives me a lot of hope as well. I do. I have so much hope. I'm kidding. But I do. And again, that's why, like, people that come from some of these countries, I even talked to a woman recently, so an older woman in her 60s, and she moved here from Russia a long time ago, and she was saying very similar things. And people that move to this country, like, we are the beacon of freedom. We are the beacon of, you come from nothing and you can make something of yourself. And people that come here, I think, from other places almost appreciate that even more than we do, because they've been through it, they've seen it, they've heard the stories, their families have been through it. But let me know your thoughts on everything, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.